What is going on, guys? Soldiers here, and today we're back again with another One Punch Man Destiny video. And today I'm going to be giving you a little mob guide on what's the best way to grind them and all that cool stuff. And the simplest thing that you need is the class Esper. Now, the reason being is that Esper is one of the best grinding classes, and you'll be seeing why here in a minute. So you figure that you might not get the Esper class when you're fighting these criminals or even Crablante, and we're just gonna briefly go over them. They're really not that hard. If you already have Esper, you can just simply fire meteors at them, and depending on what your strength is at, you could probably even one-shot them as soon as you unlock the move. You unlock it at level 15, and by then you should be able to pretty much one-shot them. And simple as that, you can sit there and grind them all day until you're able to fight Crablante, but we won't really get going over them as much as the following bosses right after it. So we have Hammerhead's quest here. You could, of course, come to this girl right here on the edge of the street, and she'll give you the quest for his parasiters. And, you know, they're not... I guess there's a meteor. I wouldn't really recommend fighting them at all. It's really kind of a waste of time. They don't give a lot of XP or anything else. Or paradisers, sorry. Always get that wrong for some reason. But the whole thing with Hammerhead is that you can actually just kind of boop him, and then just hop over this fence, and then you just sit here with rock throw, and then you can just do this and kind of spam it. And it's really an easy way to just kind of get easy XP, and then you just run, grab the quest again, then you'll come through here, kind of boop him, then hop over this, and then you shoot your rocks at him, and simple as that. I recommend doing that till you're about C+ or higher, and from there you would come over to this person way over here. As far as your actual rank goes, I don't think you necessarily have to be C+ or above, but by then you'll have a pretty decent strength to actually be able to fight the sea folk. But you'll just grab the quest, and then you'll kind of taunt them. You can just grab all of them. Then you'll jump on top of this wall, and if you have Esper, you shouldn't have to worry about the range. And you can just pop your C move or E move or whatever you have unlocked by then. And they'll be stuck on this wall so they can't reach you, and you have the more range and all that nice stuff. By the time you're about C++ or B or higher, you want to fight Sea King, and technically you could probably skip him, but I'm just gonna straight up tell you I'd fight Sea King until you release a B before we do any skipping of any bosses in the game. Typically, what most people do with Sea King is they get him stuck on this little lifeguard tower, and then you can just throw your rocks into the building, and he'll die eventually. So it's basically the basic concept. I know I briefly just went over these in the previous video, and I'm just going to give it a bigger breakdown because I was going through a lot of other stuff throughout that video. I want to give like a better breakdown of what all you want to do, and I'm actually going to be going over each mob and how to farm them pretty well. So with that being said, that's how you farm Deep Sea King, and then the next boss you'll be fighting after him when you're B+ or B or B+ or higher. You'll come over to Sonic, and then his quest will be right here across the bridge. It'll be this little dude laying on the ground, and then you'll just grab it. And now for this one, you'll be only using rock throw, and you'll kind of sit on this blue building here, and then what you'll do is you'll just sit here and throw rocks. Now he can't track this far, so you won't have to worry about him actually coming over here. And you just simply do that for a little bit, and you'll be getting XP from it. and all that cool stuff. And you just kind of sit there and do that until you're about an A or A plus or higher or A. Doesn't really matter. You're kind of more of a personal preference. And then your next boss will be Vaccine Man, and he's way over here in the desert. But his quest is in this little hole right here. You'll just kind of grab this. Now with Vaccine Man, you have to be very, very careful. If you have Esper, it'll be perfect because what you'll do is you'll actually just fly above him, and I'll show you here in just a minute. And you'll just kind of sit up here where you're out of his range of targeting, and then you can just sit up here and just shoot down at him, and you're good on stamina and stuff. You really shouldn't have to worry much. We'll pop our C move too just to kill him faster. And that's as simple as that. You just kind of float above him, and it's really the same for about Vaccine Man and up until you're really comfortable fighting them with any other class that you have, and it's pretty much that simple. Now, right after him, you'll be fighting Mosquito Girl, and she's actually on the opposite side of the map. It's probably the worst boss to really fight because the distance between her and her quest is probably the second biggest. But so you'll come right here, and then there'll be this dude laying against a rock. They'll ask you to fight Mosquito Girl, and you'll say yeah. And then you'll come way over here. Now with her, you can do the same. She has a lot longer range than most of the other bosses. I typically would just sit on this rock and then throw meteors for a good minute or two. She has a lot of health. You can do the flying tactic if you're comfortable on stamina. She's shooting at me, but that's fine. Excuse me. And farming her is a little bit harder than other bosses because she has a ranged move, and it's not like it does a lot of damage depending on where you are in the game, but it's enough to probably drop you to half health depending on where you're at. So that's basically how you do her, and then your next quest will actually be the Phoenix, and he's up here in the volcano, but his quest is way over here across in the city. It's this little guy that's sitting on the edge of the water, and you'll just grab this one. Now with Phoenix, he has a move where he spread shots everywhere, and then he also has one. It's like Phoenix. I call it Phoenix Flower. He sets down this like little flower-looking object, and it blows up. The best tactic for this is just to simply sit up here and just spam him with moves. You got to sit right above him for all your moves to properly hit. And then we'll just kind of do this for a little bit. Okay, so that's that. And this really just flying above them with Esper is the best tactic. This guide is pretty pointless if you don't have it, but it's definitely something that I would look forward to getting. If you get Esper, don't spend it off. It's the best grinding class as far as anything else goes. Your next boss after Phoenix is Carnage Kabuto. And you'll come over here to this little rock here, and you'll talk to Genos, if we can get up there. And then you'll just talk to him, and it'll give you it. And then Carnage's quest is right over here in this little metal closing in the ground. You'll just touch it, and then yeah. So you can just spawn in and just start shooting meteors. You can fly above him, but you basically have to be touching the ceiling to really avoid him because he does jump. But I'm pretty confident you can sit up here with your health. If you don't get one shot, I would definitely recommend doing this. He's not too bad when it comes to other bosses. He doesn't necessarily hit hard unless his ground pound hits you or his physical fist actually hits you. So if you're way up here, he can't reach you, but he'll try to jump up there and get you, of course. And we'll just kind of get this over with pretty quickly. Okay, so he's gone. Now, the next quest after Carnage Kabuto, I haven't been saying which classes you should stop at. With Carnage Kabuto, you could probably stop at A+ and be comfortable if you can get someone to carry you during Boros, or if you're confident in your strength to sit there for hours plus trying to kill him, then that's okay too. But until you're A+ or higher, I wouldn't recommend actually coming over here to Boros unless you're like a B class. You have a ton of people just carrying you. But so his quest is right here. It's this little person laying on the ground, and then you'll get it. Now, there's several different ways you can actually do this. So of course you can just use a flying tactic, sit above him and start shooting stuff. Or if you have partners that are really hard hitters, what you do is you attract him and then you fly up here to the top of the rock, and then you sit about right here to where his blast won't hit you when he's transformed into second form. And what that does is that let's hold on, we must have exited his range. Let's make sure we get him. They probably lowered it so it's not possible. Okay, so as you see, he's stuck there, and then what your friends can do is just sit there and bully him the entire time he's there, and all that nice stuff. So, and it does take a while to kill Boros. Like, even for me, it would take forever to kill Boros, probably like 20 minutes or so. At least on a solo, if you have a good group of people, it should be a lot better for you, especially if you're all high ranked stats and stuff. Now, for the next quest is Saitama. So Saitama is currently the hardest boss in the game. They are making a stronger version of him that will be dropping a relic as well as more stuff than he currently already gives. So he gives 60 million, 100,000 strength, and 150,000 yen. Now, for Saitama, there's really no easy way to do it. If you're just super OP and can like drop a million per hit, sure, go in with Metal Bat. But if you can't, I'd recommend using Esper or Dark Esper and just floating above him like this. Make sure you're not within his range. And then you just sit here, drop all your freaking moves on him. Don't use the arm move though, it's pretty pointless. You just waste stamina at that point. But you just kind of sit here and you keep firing at him for a good minute. You have several Esper people. If you have a group, cool. It'll make it a lot easier as far as the whole grinding process will go. Now, that's all the mobs. That's all the bosses I'm going to be going over. I know I was talking a little bit about mobs and stuff, but we skipped over Crablante and all that cool stuff. So that's pretty much all I can explain to you as far as mobs go. I know there are more coming out on their next update. They're adding a new Saitama boss, probably. It's a little bit stronger than that one, probably like 50% or 100%. Who knows? And then, of course, your other boss is Meteor. Meteor is technically the separation between Carnage, Kabuto, and Boros. And it gives XP depending on how much damage you do. I don't think we'll be able to catch it quite in this video and all that cool stuff. So now we're actually going to be talking about the relics. Now, the first relic you get is Crab Claw, and that is from Crablante, and it gives a 1.5% damage increase, which isn't really a lot depending on how much you have. And then next we have Sea Crown. Now we don't have Hammerhead's relic if he has one, so I can't really give you information on that because I didn't grind him much. But the Sea Crown has 20% stamina regen, which is pretty good for when you're actually grinding him, especially if Esper and you fly and all that other stuff. You know, you're spamming moves while flying above him, and you have your form probably. It's really good for that. Next we have Sonic Scarf, and has a 15% dodge chance, and it's really good. Depending on who you're fighting, and once you get really higher, it starts to become It starts to become useless. But if you're like a big PvP person, its rates are actually really good. Like 15% is a pretty good bit. We don't have Vaccine Man's relic either. If he does have one. Oh, actually, no, we do. You get Saitama's wig. I'm pretty sure from. You get Saitama's wig from Vaccine Man, and it has a 5% damage reduction, and it's not really that good, but for where you're at in the game, it does a lot, surprisingly. So, I look into it. So now we actually have Stinger too, and that comes from the Mosquito Woman, and what it does is it gives you 5% lifesteal. Now, what that does is it, depending on how much health the person you're fighting has, you're gaining 5% of their health every time you hit them. So it's either based on the health or how much damage you're doing. I'm not very for sure. It doesn't really tell you specifically, but 5% lifesteal, so you're gaining 5% health back for every move you use on them, is from what my understanding is. So after that, we have Cardinals Kabuto's Pauldron. Now that's a 15% damage reduction, so that's 3 times the damage reduction that you get from Saitama's Wig, and it's not too bad. I don't really use it that much. It doesn't do much for me, anyways. The higher the health you have, you're just getting more and more OP, anyways. But if your stage, it's really all based on the stage of the game you're in and what relics you already have or not. But that's basically where that is. Now after that, I don't have Phoenix's relic either, but it's a 6% damage increase, and from what I've heard, and 6% is pretty high. But if you don't have a lot of strength, then it really doesn't matter much. After that, we have Alien's Eye, and that comes from Boros, and it's a 40+% crit chance, which is really, really good. I'm actually going to show you how high the crit chance is. So when you crit, your numbers actually turn yellow, and we're just going to use this S rank here as an example. So you can see our yellow numbers. That's 40% crit chance, and okay, so we basically killed all of them in about 5 or so seconds. And we're gonna take this off, and you'll see what the damage difference is when you don't actually have it. So we're gonna wait for their force fields to go away. Okay, now you can see the damage difference. It's not high. We're still getting a crit here and there, but it doesn't crit as much. And well, I guess it does still crit pretty much, but of course, the 40% plus chance to crit is a lot. It's a lot more. You're basically critting almost every hit or every 3 hits. So that's all I have for you guys for this video. So the basic breakdown is the mobs. If you have Esper, it's the best class to use for that. Relics are really dependent, personal preference, or whatever kind of ability you want. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you don't mind, just join the Discord down below in the description and leave a like, and actually just share this video. If you just share this video, that'd be awesome. Alright, so I'll see you in the next one. Peace.